Hello and welcome back to DiveDrop. It's a cold rainy Monday and as I was searching YouTube I found a lot of top 10 theme park rides, whatever. One thing I found with them is that they've all got the same sort of vibe. Every single one is interested in the same 10 roller coasters or whatever. So today I'm going to take you through my actual top 10 rides and I'm going to try and justify them through the power of the point. My 10th favourite coaster is Galactica. My 10th favourite ride is Galactica. Yeah, there's not much to it. Back in its heyday, they added VR onto the ride and it was a fun enough gimmick. I enjoyed it, I can't deny that. However, the ride has aged poorly. Very poorly. Located in Forbidden Valley, the new Nemesis developments that have been happening over the past few years, it also really just doesn't fit in anymore. Maybe something will happen to it, I don't know. At number 9 I have the Congo Rapids. I had to include a water ride, otherwise this would be not varied enough. The rapids are actually fairly good, they're the best in the UK. I'd definitely say they're one of the best in the UK. If you can get a good ride with the waterfalls now they're back on, it's actually a fair enough good ride. And it is fairly varied whether or not you come off completely dry or you do get quite wet on it. Plus the music they have on this ride, phenomenal, no notes. The reason it's at number 9 is there's just better rides at the park. Right, let me justify this one. Okay, so Oblivion, it's a one-trick pony. You go up, you do the drop, you're on the brake run. You're then sat on the brake run for 90% of the ride. There is nothing extraordinary about this. There are better rides out there. I feel a lot of people love Oblivion quite a lot, and it might be biased, I don't know. For me, nah, it's there, but it's not great. Now, if you know me, one thing I love is a walkthrough. The Alton Towers dungeon itself, I haven't actually been in 5 years. So, since it opened. When I did do it though, I enjoyed the boat ride. It's at number 7 because there were better versions of this boat ride. Not as in a dungeon thing, but there were better things in this building specifically. Kids these days may never be able to experience how good this ride is. When I was younger, well, it wasn't a dungeon, but you know what I mean. But what could possibly be better than the dungeon? Let's take a look. At number 6, it's Spinal Wizer. Don't get me wrong, this is a fun ride. I enjoy it. I think a lot of people enjoy it as well. Otherwise, they wouldn't put it at the front of the park. I won't go to say it's aged brilliantly, but then again, it's definitely not aged badly. On this ride, you board a pinball ball, I don't know, and then you get fired across up the lift hill, and then you are in a human pinball machine. To be honest, I don't know what to actually say about this. It's a roller coaster. What are people meant to say about these top 10s? At number 5 we have Nemesis Subterra. Now I actually got to experience this one back before it closed in 2015 and it feels definitely a lot easier to do now. I'm not sure whether or not that's because I've aged or because back then it was genuinely terrifying. I've always found something fun about the literal military feel of being escorted underground, even though you're not underground because the moment you step out the lift you can see daylight, but you're underground and then you can go in, see an egg, and before you know it you're on a drop tower, which is not the biggest drop tower in the world, but it's a good one. At the end of the ride you usually faced a bunch of actors. Back when it first opened there were loads, you literally were running for your life. Nowadays you usually get only one, at a push 2. Which is a shame, but at least it's back open. I am so sorry if you have not done this yet, and I have just spoilt it all. But I had to mention it because no matter what I have to do it every visit, and I don't know why, but I do. Okay, so this one I didn't really know why, I just thought it felt right. If you have done Wickman you'll understand it's a fun ride. If you can get the fire on at night and they have all the fun lighting on, it's actually a really fun experience. I'd highly recommend doing it. don't let the 1.2 meter height restriction put you off or think it's a kiddie ride. It's a lot of fun, this one. So here we go then, into my top 3. So in 3rd place is Berry Bish Bash. I never said they still existed. The last time I entered the doors of this building was over 10 years ago, before CBeebies Land was a thing. This was some of the most fun you could ever have growing up. If you've not experienced this or anything like this before, you get a bunch of little foam balls, you collect them from the ground, you take them up to the top of like the edges and the walls of the building. As you can see, well, you can't see really there, it's broken. On the walls outside you had these more or less just guns. You put them in there and you just shot them at people. Now, it was always fun to just shoot at the people on the opposite side of the building, but what was even more fun was shooting at the defenceless people on the ground. A fun thing I remember about this was all morals just went out the window. You could shoot whoever you liked and there was nothing they could do about it. I've seen events where you do your 1 hour exclusive ride time on Nemesis Reborn. If I had to choose an experience to do exclusive ride time on, I would choose this. This would be great. I fear I have to move on because otherwise I could go on about this for far too long. In 2nd place, we're back in X Sector, it's the Smiler. In terms of cleanliness and a general ride experience, I can't like go out and just say, oh, it's brilliant and that. It hasn't particularly aged the best. If you've been on recently, you'll understand those 2 last corkscrews before you go onto the final brake run, they cause headaches. Furthermore, the restraints smell, the optical procedure is never working, the queue line itself is filthy. I could go on, but for a ride of this scale into such a tiny space, and to have it on our doorstep is frankly quite good. I just put it at 2nd really, just because I thought it deserved a better love. Finally, moving on to the final ride, my number 1 at Alton Towers. On this cold, damp Monday evening, the best ride at Alton Towers is In the Night Garden. Sleep well.